turn on the scanner. Important is that you have the right knowledge base in the tool. So that means for customers who are using it, for example, in Canada and the US, they go to Canada, they need to change the knowledge base on the tool. Knowledge base is like a signal database. The tool compares the recorded signals with the signals in the database and then reads out the concrete cover and the diameter. Yeah? And we have some standard diameters or standard rebar databases in the tool itself. So you have like the ASTM whatever in here, but when you go to Canada, he needs to check if the tool is set on Canadian rebar standard. Yeah? So there's an option where you can change it in the tool, yeah? But we keep it like it is. Good. So home screen. Maybe I turn on the light. Then we have here, first of all, this is my quick scan. Then we have here the image scan, and we have here the block scan mode. And down here we have some options. For example, the light, tone, and this is important because you need to erase, when something is on the scanner, erase the memory before you start scanning. Because when you still have something on the memory and you transfer the data, then the old scan files will be also transferred. Yeah? So make sure that the memory is clean. Yeah? You can erase it here. You'll see this little diskette, and when this would be full, right now it's white, it would be black. Yeah? So when it's black, there's something in the tool, you go in here, you erase it. You also can see that, for example, here in quick scan, you have 0 to 98 feet. If this would be black a bit here, then it means that you have something in the memory. Yeah? Okay, good. Now we start with quick scan. I go into the quick scan mode. I have here the number of my distance, so when I start scanning, it counts up. Then here we have an empty bar at the moment, but this shows the signal strength. So when we locate the bar, there will be a strength of signal coming up, and here a number of concrete cover. Yeah? So when I want to localize an object, you need to check where's the maximum of my signal and the lowest number. Then I'm on top of the bar, and then I can mark it out on the scan, on the wall. Okay? I will show this. So here we have also different types of parameters. The first one is I can set the limited depth. So that means what I talked before is when I set an angle of 2 inches, I can set here 2 inches, and the tool only beeps when the concrete cover is less than 2 inches. It shows me all the readings, but it only beeps when it's less than 2 inches. So I don't need actually to check what it's saying, I'm just listening if it's beeping once or not. If it's not beeping, I have sufficient concrete cover, I can set the anchor anywhere. Then we have this, so you see here I can set it up to a level. You can check it out what is it doing. So when it's set like this, it's unlimited, so it beeps always when it
as far as it can
detects.
Yeah.
No? Good. Then the other one is the scan direction. Yeah. This is helpful when you do several scans, because at the end you don't know anymore which scan was taken from left to right or from top to down. Because you always check in 2 directions, because you at the beginning you don't know which layer is on top, and you don't want to record concrete cover of a bar which is laying beyond the other bar. Yeah. You always need to check where's the top layer, that I can check my concrete cover. Okay. Then this one you can define the diameter, because when I, for example, don't know the diameter, then I get probably a wrong reading of concrete cover. So for example, when you have a normal concrete wall, what is a normal standard diameter for a normal reinforced concrete?
Depends on how high you're going.
Okay, but for this, for example, number 6
is 6 or 8.
So 6 or 8. Would you choose a smaller one or a thicker one?
I'd choose the thicker one, right? I mean, if you're doing concrete cover, Because if it's a smaller bar, you're going to have more cover, and if you have it on the larger, it's going to detect.
It's the opposite. Okay. So a smaller diameter gives you less concrete cover as a bigger diameter. So when you don't know the diameter, but you're guessing the diameter and you don't want to open it, choose a smaller one that you have more tolerance on the concrete cover.
Right.
Okay. So in our case, let's say I set the number 6.
You don't have to select that.
For quick scan detection, yes.
Okay.
Because this depends then on the concrete cover.
Okay.
So right now I have a number 6 in the tool set up, and when I just now do some checking, for example, I get here, let's say 2 inches of concrete cover with the number 6 bar.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I change this one to a higher one.
Yes. Okay.
And I do the same scan again. I get already more concrete cover.
Yep.
Yeah? So choose a smaller one to be on the safe side in terms of concrete cover.
That makes sense.
Yeah? All the settings are just for quick scan detection, so without recording. When I record, I can change all this stuff later on the software. So, yeah. Okay. We said we want to set the level of concrete cover. So in this case, I had like 2.2 with the number 10. And I set this one to 2.5. So my specification says I need to have a minimum concrete cover of 2.5 inches. So I set this one to 2.5. And now I do scanning.
I'll show you.
I don't hear anything. Oh, it's, yeah, of course it's beeping because it's less than 2.5.
Right.
Yeah. When I set now this level to 1.7,
This goes back to what Mike was saying, where he's just on the ceiling, rather than using that PS1000, just quickly.
it doesn't give you a sound. It shows the bars, but it doesn't give you a sound.
So you know you're safe. Good to go.
It's safe. Yeah. But this depends on the diameter, which you have to set in the tool.
And if you're unsure, you say go lower. Yeah.
Okay. Important is for the quick scan detection is when you want to localize a bar, you go completely over the signal until it disappears, and then you move back. Because the tool needs to know, the software needs to know how wide is the signal, how long is the signal. And then you move back, and then you can mark it out where the maximum of the signal is and the lowest number of concrete cover. Make sense? You want to try it out?
High signal on the right, lowest number. But it just matters what the highest signal is, though. Really, right?
No.
Like, see how it goes up?
Yeah.
Come back, so it's probably right there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where all your hips and stirrups are coming in from your column. They're tight.
Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't want to butcher your name.
So you go completely over the signal, and then you go back, and then you check where the maximum is of your signal and the lowest number. So right there, yeah? And then you would mark it in the middle. Okay?
And then when we're,
What do you mean with close?
so if he's scanning over a bar in
Yeah.
the scanning area,
Yeah.
will it give you an accurate reading?
Yeah, when you go along a bar, it has some influence. Yeah, you should check how does the grid look like, and then try to scan in between.
When you're marking on the side, what are you using?
No, you can only use the middle of the
What you're picking up is just the outer bands, tying the entire cage together right now.
So you need to do it both ways to make sure you know which one's on top. So you know exactly what it is.
So we have a benchmark here. Yeah. The vertical one is the top one. So what is the first thing I should do to start my scan? Hit the before button.
Make sure that you're not over top of the bar.
Oh yeah. So find the signals. Yeah. For example, here's one, and then here's one.
Oh, okay.
And then try to find a space where we don't have a signal, yeah? And then you start the record button. You see this little diskette on the display and it just go on. Now you're recording all the signals. Okay, until I find the safe spot for stopping, not on the signal. And now this data is saved inside. I see it because now I have a black thing on the bar. Huh? Now we want to transfer it to the monitor.
Oh, you see right there, okay.
Doesn't have.
It's a USB, that's why we have the USB infrared.
Garage door.
PSA. No, the PSA55, the little infrared stick.
It's a little USB stick with infrared on it.
I don't have one of those.
Where's the USB port in here?
No, it doesn't. It's infrared to USB. It's an adapter that you plug in, I guess.
Please make sure that you know it recognizes it, and now when you hit the accept button, it transfers the data. When it's transferred, when you hit this button here, it erases the memory. When you hit this button, the scan file stays inside the tool. But please make sure when you hit this one, that the next time you transfer it, you get it again, the same scan file with a different scan number. So sometimes we have customers that say, hey, I transferred one
Check
scan.
mark erases, X keeps the tool.
Erase. Okay, and then you open the scan file on the monitor, and then I mean you see already that this one is probably a double bar or something. Yeah. So you see all the signals which popped up here. They are signals from ferromagnetic objects. Yeah. In this case, probably rebars. Here's my surface, and this is my maximum depth. Yeah. We said we cut off the data at 3.8
inches.
This is my scan length, so from 0 to 42.6 inches. And when I use this one here, up and down, I see here, this is my depth reading currently. Yeah? Here's my scan length, this is my X position, this is this one here. And this is my diameter, which I preset it on the tool. Okay. Then down here we have currently 0 bars, which have less concrete cover as my current depth. When I move this one down, you see the bar number raises. So I can set up this level on my specified concrete cover. And the customer says, okay, you need to have 2 inches of concrete cover. It tells me that 3 of my bars have less concrete cover than 2.0. This one is the average concrete cover over the whole scan, so we have 2.2 average concrete cover, plus the standard deviation. The first thing what you should do before you're analyzing the scan is to check how good is your data. For that you go to visualization, not analyze data, and then you check here and you zoom in. And this is what I want to see. Round shapes of signals. Yeah? When they are not round, like this for example, they have some cracks in. That could be that either the steel is corroded or the signal quality is shitty. That means rough surface, so use an overlay to get nice signals. Yeah? Because all the time when the tool is moving like this, it generates signals which doesn't exist. And in this case, this is clearly for me a double bar. And then back to analyze data, and that's it what I'm doing with QScan. I mean, normally you have really more readings here, just a few here. Good? Let's do image scan on the bar.
So don't start there. You can start there.
So it's not right here, there's a line right here.
Okay, so we have one direction now, the vertical ones. Here it's pretty good. So where?
It's over here and put it on the line up there.
So like this? Good. You know how to scan it?
Kind of mid-skin.
Good. So here also it shows me where to start. I can change the starting point, like on the X-Scan. Yeah. Middle. Middle, and then you just start the recording, and it just continues. Yeah? It stops automatically, like the X-Scan. Jumps to the second one manually by pressing the button, the start button, somewhere on the grid. Yeah?
What?
And it stops this one.
Press the X button, redo the line. Press it. So if you press the X button again, you have to redo the whole scan. All right.
Thank you.
It's not hard, it's just a pain in the ass.
Now, Andre, what if you held the tool the other way, like with the handle? Does it matter?
Does it matter on X-Scan?
No. Okay.
Same thing.
What?
X-Scan. So I don't want to do this one, this one.
Yeah, you can jump over the lines and then just get one line here, one line here.
Okay.
Depends if it gives you enough readings.
Check mark?
Yeah. So now you see here, in this mode we have a 1 out of 9 now. Huh?
Yep.
So 9 is the maximum.
Now, if you hit the check mark on this, it'll delete what you just scanned.
And X is keep it on.
So we had X, so we have now 2 times.
Because my first scan was
Side or whatever.
yeah.
So you can go to what is there the not analyze option on this as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what he's doing now, you see here the depth. Yeah. So in the Ferro scan case, it's like you start always from the top, and then you do like this. Not like the quick scan, the X scan where you do like this. So you always start from the top to check which layer is on top, which layer comes below.
So it's telling me at 2.2 I'm starting to see bar.
So here's something not normal inside. Yeah?
I think it's because
No, I think there's something else. So you see here clearly that the horizontal ones are coming first, and
They're
then
about two.
below the
Right about
vertical ones.
2.4.
Yeah.
And then those are coming those are coming at 1.2 though.
Yeah.
And then down are 2.4.
But this is only estimation because we only use the not analyzed data. Huh? To be more accurate, we turn on the analysis. And the first thing what you see here, can you click one more time? We have this gray and blue points here.
Oh yeah.
Raise the edge.
And here it's completely gray. So blue and gray, you see here we have 1, then 5 blue ones, and then 1 gray one again, and then again 1 gray one, 5 blue ones, and 1 gray one again. So in the tool we have 7 sensor coil pairs from the top to the bottom. And in our analysis we only use the ones in the middle. We don't use the top one and the bottom one because they are too much influenced by the environment. Yeah? And in such a case here, when it's completely gray, this can have two cases. One is, and this is our case, we didn't finish after the signal, because when you put the So you see here we have the signal, but the tool doesn't know, or the software doesn't know where does it stop. That's why we don't use this data for analysis. So in our case, we should have moved it a bit down, that we get the full signal here.
Oh, okay.
The other case would be if this bar would lay deeper than 60 millimeters, like this maximum depth of diameter estimation, then it also shows up in gray. Good.
So if I'm with a customer right now, I'm telling them that at 2 inches, you get rebar?
Yeah, if you use an image scan, sure. But I use image scan for diameter estimation.
And it's telling me that it is...
So what do you do normally? We will do it in a different case here because we are interested on the columns. We're always interested in the vertical ones. We are not interested in the binders, because
Okay.
But you also want to take this pressure on the blue part because that's analyzed.
So the first thing what you do is you check the bars which you are interested in, and then you move this one here.
Oh, that is 7 right where you are.
This is my reader. I move this one to the blue one in the middle, like this, and I get here the reading of X and Y and my depth, 1.9 inches, and it tells me what is the diameter here. It's a number 7. This is calculated by the software. It's not coming from the tool. So what do I do next is I go along this bar and I check several points, several blue points. What is the diameter there? Not the concrete color. Still number 7. So we have 8.
So the one that has the most
8.
Number of, if it's 778, 778,
you would go for 7. Also, you would go for 7 because it's a smaller one. Again, to be on the safe side. Our specification says we have ±1 standard rebar. And also to be 100% sure, you need to open the structure at one point. You check the diameter, and then you enter this one in your readings.
And there's cases where horizontally they're one rebar size, vertically they're another, right?
In the column, of course.
Yeah.
And if you check one bar, you can check another bar, and then you build up your mind, and you say, okay, the average diameter is this and this and this. Quick scan for concrete cover.
Yep.
You also get the concrete cover out of the image scan.
Right.
But it takes longer.
It takes longer, yeah.
You would check all the...
It makes sense that that'd be number 8 bar because that's 1 inch.
Well, this also gives you the average concrete coverage of the whole image scan. Like if you're going, right?
Yeah. So when I now sure what type of diameter do I have, I go to parameters, and then I set for all the vertical readings, I set it to 7. And then I hit OK. And now the software calculates for every data point in the vertical way a new level of concrete with a 7 millimeter bar, number 7 bar. If it's when it's a mesh, I can do the same thing then for the layer below, because it's a mesh and I know this is the same diameter. So I go to horizontal and I set it also the same. On the column you wouldn't do it. Monitor, he needs to transfer it somewhere over. Either to the garage door opener or to the PSA 100 or 200.
So with that adapter that you can plug into the PSA 200, can you plug that directly into a computer and work the same way? No?
It's actually quite a shame, but we have a specific software which we can use for this. And we charge for, if the customer uses this little adapter, it costs $300.
Sorry, so then you can only transfer it to the
I need to
monitor.
get one, or maybe 2.
You can only transfer to the monitor, you can't transfer to your
You
desktop.
cannot transfer it to a PC.
That sucks.
We block this.
For what?
It gets us to sell tablets.
Data from here to the PSA 200 over the little USB adapter.
Oh, right there.
So we sell a PS200, we sell a
It's not the
tablet.
garage door thing, it's another thing. It's a little...
Right, yeah.
Well, it'll transfer to the PSA 200 just fine.
But you have to use the big infrared sensor.
So sell the whole package.
Yes.
That's what I mean. When you sell you don't just sell the tool by itself, you sell it with the
You put a
tablet.
block on it.
Oh yeah. If they want to do the readings.
Scan map. You can just do all this in the protection.
Ferro scan map comes then when you, for example, you need to scan this whole area, this whole floor. There are customers who are doing this whole thing. And then they don't want to analyze each single scan. So they analyze one image scan, for example. Then they use batch processing in the software, set the parameters for all these scans, the same level, the same.
The horizontal is this size, the vertical is this size.
Exactly.
Right.
Then they transfer they format the data from XFF to IFF, because this is the data format I need for Ferroscan map. And then they use just Ferroscan map to stick them next to each other. And then you get the statistic out of your whole area.
So
I can show you this.
for customer wanting to be able to manipulate the scans on a tablet, or they need process detection, go to the PC. Process detection and the 55.
Yep.
You go to a tablet. The tablet comes with process detection. They just need the.
No, the tablet comes with Profis UA200. This is a separate software for the tablet.
But that will run.
We don't have Profis detection on the tablet.
But it'll run the Ferro scans.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's whatever this is.
Whatever the tablet file.
You can use the USB with that Ferro with the infrared scanner on that tablet just fine, right? But you can't do that on your desktop.
No.
So how do you get this data on your desktop?
Garage door.
We do it from the PSA 200. We use a USB stick to transfer the data.
Oh, so you had to go. You almost always have to sell this with a tablet.
Via Wi-Fi, because this is a Windows 10 tablet, so you can install Windows Office, Outlook, whatever, and you use just mail and send it to your.
But I'll have to, if you're going to sell this tool and they want to see the data, even if they have their own computer.
You need to have PSA 200.
If not, Wi-Fi.
PSA 55 plus a laptop which they use on the job site.
PSA 55. Okay.
And a subscription then.
Of course.
PSA 55.
PSA 55 is the garage door.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We are more when the customer says it's too expensive and I don't want to pay $5,500 for my monitor, then you can offer him the PSA 55 because this solution is much cheaper as the monitor.
Okay.
But you still have to pay for.
You get an image scan at the same time.
Space to start.
You know, somebody's using 7, 10, speed.
All the way over.
This makes it a lot of fun.
There we go. I'm just thinking because, you know, some of these companies, some of these big companies have like incredible software engineers.
They over this data and later in the software.
Is it? This is the monthly subscription? Yeah, who in customer service are you reaching out to?
So you guys know how to turn on the expert mode?
Yes, I would reach out to. There's people
Then we
in
have here the
customer service
expert.
who know how to do software.
Now we have here our screen with the hyperbolas, and here the screen which we also checked with the 0 and minus and plus.
To see what kind of material it is.
Let's do this again.
Samantha told me Breeze was the minimum. Maybe for
Actually, we have a cable here, huh? What cable?
I'll just send
And then you see here, I mean, first of all, our scale doesn't end, so it's continuous going. It depends on the concrete which I use. So when I use this higher or lower, it doesn't change my data, it only changes the scale. Yeah? With raw data, we collect what we have, we never change this data. Only the scale. Yeah? You see, I change it, no problem.
Can we go back into that? I'll just get into that specific screen.
In this one?
Yeah.
So you have to turn on expert mode.
So you go to settings, all the updates or upgrades we deliver on the scanner anyway, they are for free. And you will find these ones under options. Yeah? Options, you have EM sensor and you have the quick scan expert mode. If we launch other features, you will find them here. So I turned it on, and as soon as I turn it on, this changes to expert here. Yeah? Quick scan recording expert is only used for customers who have Profis detection. If they don't have Profis detection, they don't get this update because they cannot use the data in the software. Yeah. So I turn this on. The first thing what you see is we don't have a top view anymore. We only have a cross-sectional view, and we have this single antenna trace thing. Yeah. So now I start a scan. Okay, and you see here when I move it to left or to the right, and I set it exactly on top of a hyperbola, I get here the reading, 0, minus, plus,
left, right,
First,
left, so it's
first
metal.
peak, it's metal. Opposite would be end of the slab or something would be the
And it's
inverse
telling us
signal.
that we're getting metal right above 2 inches. So that's what we had, 1.9, 1.8.
So we have the Ferro scan readings. So I use this line and I set it exactly there where the 0 is here. You see that? And I get a reading out of 2.1 inches. And we know from the Ferro scan, it fits
Right
roughly.
around, yeah.
If this would be different, a different depth, I go to parameters and I change my concrete value. So now, for example, I have it on 6.5 and you see the 0 move down. So when I use this line now and I set it to the 0 one again, I have a 2.3 inch. Yeah? This is how I use permittivity to set up the depth. Furthermore, we have here also a gain function. When I use this one, it gains. When I lower it, it lowers the readings here. But the more important thing is the mono or the B channel. In the mono channel, I get the shading effect of deeper laying objects. Because the mono channel hits the object directly from the top and reflects. On the B, it hits the object, but it bounces back to the side. So when I check for deeper laying objects or for back wall reflections, I change from mono to B. And then I hit OK. And in this case, it doesn't affect so much, but we get here more readings in the depth, and this one is a bit more shallow. So change to B to
So
analyze.
it's showing us that there's 2 levels of rebar in there.
Yeah.
So B shows the second layer. What was that? Can you go over that again?
Mono just shows over
So just
top.
check
Over
also.
back.
Layer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just check also here this one. So when I change back to mono,
That's how it's reading the.
this one is a little bit less noisy, but I get here my signals really strong from the top layer. But the second layer is not so visible. Yeah? And when I change now to B, this high peak disappears completely, but I get more readings down here, more noise also. So when I want to check layers deeper below, I change to B, and then I get my peak here.
And then if we go down, you can see that some of the rebar is at 4.8, 4.9.
You would move it then to down here. You look me here, and I think this reading